when I go to, you know, looking on those apps and looking at the person who might potentially be a match, I immediately go back to where I was and think, oh, he's not going to choose me because I look a certain way. So as much work as I've done, and I feel like I've done a lot, trying to be in your body, feel empowered, play, nice music before going on a date and feeling okay with where I am, I still find that I get stuck.
This is episode number 529. We're going to be doing live coaching with Debra, who is struggling with body image and dating. I'm really excited to bring you this topic because it is so relevant to so many people. Debra wrote into the show, and I'll be reading her letter and then bringing her on for some live coaching in just a minute. But before that, I just wanted to welcome you back to Last First Date Radio, where we believe it is never too late to go on your last first date. And to support you on your journey to lasting love, I wrote a book. It's called Becoming a Woman of Value: How to Thrive in Life and Love. And it is filled with tons of tips and exercises that will help you to build your core confidence, which is really an essential part of dating and love and life. And so it's divided into three pillars of core confidence: show up, stand up, and speak up. And you can find it now on Amazon for Kindle or paperback. This week's tip from the book is step number 30, which is, if you want something, ask for it. We are not so good at asking for what we want. And we often think people should read our minds, especially in the dating world when we're on dates. And if they loved me, they would ask me, they would know what I need. And that is not true. Most people don't know what we think. They don't know how we feel unless we actually share it with them. And so my challenge to you today is, if there is some place in your life where you would like somebody to do something for you, to say something to you, just ask for it. And before I bring Debra on, I want to give a shout out to my awesome Facebook group. Debra's a member, and it is a great place. I can let Debra speak about it when she's on the show. But it's really a highly supportive group for people who are women over 40 who are looking to go on their last first date. This is not a place to come and complain and whine and bitch and moan. It is a place to grow and to build some skills, because dating is a bunch of skills. And when we just point fingers and blame, we don't really improve our dating life or our life in general. So join us there at your last first date. So here's what Debra wrote into the show. She said, I am struggling with body image. My body has changed a lot over the past few years, and it takes a lot of courage and mental effort for me to get on the dating apps. Once I meet someone, I can forget about my physical body and just be present with them until something ends the relationship, such as recently the guy significantly lied to me about his age. So each time I try to get back online, I have this battle with myself. I shouldn't date until I lose more weight and I'll feel more confident to choose different men. I think that men will not want me because of my size right now. So Debra, you are not alone. Body image issues affect people of all shapes and sizes. And I want to welcome you to the show and thank you for sharing some of your struggles.
I really appreciate this.
You were a member of our Woman of Value Club, which is my private group coaching, for a long time. And you've been a member of Your Last First Date for many years as well. And I love this question because it's often people think, oh, it's just about being on the right diet, and it's about just do lose that weight, or don't worry about it, just love your body as it is. And it's a really hard concept to get behind. And so how you feel about your body is probably the most important thing. And self-acceptance is really important. So tell me some of the ways that you've tried to overcome these struggles.
Well, I've learned so much in the group, throughout the years, people have posted very empowering ideas. I've also worked with a woman named Nina Manelson, who has helped very much with body image and moving away from the diet culture. And I filled myself up with lots of empowering, education and thoughts and listening to podcasts. So I know all of this on a certain level, but still, when I go to, looking on those apps and looking at the person who might potentially be a match, I immediately go back to where I was and think, oh, he's not going to choose me because I look a certain way. So as much work as I've done, and I feel like I've done a lot, trying to be in your body, feel empowered, play, nice music before going on a date and feeling okay with where I am, I still find that I get stuck.
Yeah, and I love that you've worked with Nina. Nina's been on our show a few times,
Yes.
actually. She's been on my other podcast as well. And she's great at helping people move away from diet culture. Because diet culture to me is all about being punished, punishing yourself. It's about restriction, it's about
Right.
lack of pleasure. And dating is really all about pleasure and
Yes.
fun, and also, having a great connection with somebody. And so when we focus so much on diet, we really can come from a place of lack and scarcity, like I'm not enough and that there aren't enough men who would accept me. What are some of the thoughts that go through your mind as you're looking on dating sites?
I've done some wonderful coaching with you, so I feel like I have a profile that I'm really proud of, and I feel okay, I'm ready to go. And then I start looking, and I see pictures, and I'm like, oh, he looks, kind of cute, and I read through his profile, and then it might say like he's, really fit and really into hiking and eating healthy, even though I do all of those things, I love exercising and eating healthy, I feel like my body doesn't show that on the outside. So immediately I will say, oh, I can't click on this person. What will he think? And how will I ever meet this person? And it's like I start going into this way of thinking that is just not helpful to so I just can't click. I just close the app and that's it.
So it's a lot about you deciding that this man would never be interested in a woman like you.
Yes.
And so, how do you know that that's true?
I I don't know. I really don't because I'm not even giving him the chance. It's like this fear of the what ifs or what if I guess is more anxiety of just the I I don't know if it's I just don't want to be hurt. I yeah, it's a tough like wall that I place in front of me.
So, how can you be hurt by a person you don't know, you've never met, and you've never spoken to, right?
Right. Right. I know. It makes no sense, right?
Right. So, and we do this, right? We make up stories, we look at somebody and we make up a story about how they might feel. And you don't know because you're not them.
Right.
And nobody can hurt you if they don't know you, right? I mean, they can't reject you if they don't know you because they may not want to date you, but they can't reject you as a person. The essence of who you are is something that people can get to know. And so let's say you're putting yourself out there, you have pictures that represent who you really are. They get to make a choice whether they want to date somebody your size or another size, whether size even matters. We don't know that, right? But they get to choose.
Right.
And we do this a lot in other parts of our lives as well. We make up our mind that this person won't hire me, or this, like, so you started your own business recently.
Yes.
And did your size play any part in that?
No, not at all.
Not at all.
It just, and same with on the side, I also love acting. And I decided I'm not going to let that get in my way, even though I might not be where I want to be in my body. I love acting so much that I just try to get into the character and move forth. So,
Yeah. And that's a great analogy because acting, we often think, oh, only slim people who have a perfect body can be actors. But somehow you were able to just say, I want to do this and I'm going to be okay with it. So what was the process of doing that? Like, how did you get there?
I like seeing people of all different shapes and sizes on the screen, on stage. I want to represent all people. So when I see that, it makes me feel more comfortable. So I also had to start my business because my job of 20 years was eliminated. I had no choice. I had to keep going forth with my speech therapy and accent coaching business. I had no choice. I had to go forward.
Yeah, so there are two things. And if we can relate those two things to dating, let's say your marriage, which was like your job of many years, ended,
Yes.
and you have a choice to push through. I mean, with the job, it's how you make a living, but you went for your job. With the acting, that was a choice. It was a passion choice. And there is something bigger that you wanted by getting into acting. And one of the things you mentioned was seeing people of all sizes and shapes
Yes.
on the screen. What's important about that to you?
It's just so real and authentic. It doesn't show that anyone is better than anyone else, and we're all human and we're all here together to just be who we are.
Have you ever seen a couple who was successful who wasn't, the woman wasn't a size 8 and the man wasn't just totally fit with a six pack?
Yes, I do. I always look around and I I do. I could see so much love between them, and it has, and just that attraction and, dancing on the dance floor or wherever. And I can see that they're doing so well, and body size has nothing to do with it.
Yeah. So you know that this exists in the world. You know
Yes.
that people of all shapes and sizes do find love, and that it's not about your body, it's about your mindset. If your mindset right now, if you were to put it into a sentence when it in regard to dating and your body, what would you say your mindset is?
Well, before this coaching call, I would say my mindset felt stuck, rigid, scared, lonely, imperfect, broken.
Hmm. And then if you were to say, if I date, blank will happen.
If I date, I want to put in the right person in there. If I date the right person, so much could happen. So many good things could happen. I can see great potential. If I date, there could be so many possibilities.
Like what?
I could picture, doing fun things together, like going away for weekends or day trips and hiking and seeing plays and going to museums and music concerts. I'm someone who's ready to just enjoy life. So I could see fun things happening.
And who is the right person? What would make him the right person?
Someone who is thoughtful and present and smart, caring, sensitive, interested in my day to day as I would be of him, and getting to know each other just on the inside, and driven.
And driven. Okay.
Yes.
What's important about driven?
I find that I'm attracted to men who are like ambitious and doing, and just keep moving, that growth mindset, keep going forward.
What would that person find when they're dating you? What are some of the qualities that you bring to a relationship?
I would be very present and caring and fun, and just wanting to be open to learn and do.
So you have a lot to offer a partner, right? Somebody who is sensitive and caring and wants to know all of you, not just judge your body,
Right.
but wants to get to know the real you, who is an incredible partner, right? You are a really caring person. You are driven. You started your own
Yes.
business. You are resilient. I'm going to add a few things to your list here.
Thank you. Resilient. Yes.
And you have
Thank you.
that growth mindset. I mean, you're always learning and looking to improve yourself, which
Yes.
are some of the qualities you're looking for in a partner. And when you date or when you look at men, are you looking only at their bodies, or are you looking at the qualities that you just mentioned?
Well, online, it's hard because we just see this superficial picture. So that's what I see. And then my own mind starts interpreting what's going on his inside, his thoughts, which isn't helping me.
Right. So one of the things we want to work on is the making up stories part, whether you're making up stories about how somebody sees you or how you see them. I was just talking to a client yesterday who's a little older. She's in her early 70s. She's widowed. And she was saying, the men I see online are so old looking, like I don't even want to write to them. And I spoke to her about how a profile's not a person. I talk about that a lot, but that my mom in her second marriage married somebody who was probably 14, 15 years older, and he looked really old, but they had a beautiful connection. Somebody had set them up. He had these beautiful, sparkly blue eyes. He loved her so much, and they got married shortly after they started dating. And so if she had just looked at an online profile of him, she probably would have said, "Oh, who's that old man? I don't want to date him." If we want somebody to see us as a whole person, we have to practice the same thing back to other people. And maybe for you, it's also about opening up your net about who you would date, not settling for somebody who doesn't have fitness requirements or something, and just somebody who feels like, oh, maybe they'll accept me because they're kind of whatever. You don't really feel an attraction at all. I'm saying look beyond the external, because that's what you want. And that's number one. Number two is to maybe spend a little time getting to know each other. I know you've done this in the past where you've had some good phone calls and then gotten together with somebody. And maybe it's some video chats so you actually can see each other's faces and you can feel some chemistry. But I think because once people get to know you, it's hard not to fall in love with you. I mean,
Oh,
really. it,
thank you.
you're welcome. But don't you feel like if they knew who I was and they didn't just
Yes.
see my body, they would get to know who I am on the inside.
Yes.
So if you offer the same grace to men, it could open up a whole new window of possibility and opportunity, because you're getting to know them, they're getting to know you. And by the time you meet, you're already falling in love with the people that you are, and not just the immediate judgment, which happens a lot, both personality wise and body wise. I think the dating is a lot of quick judgments. And so if we can slow down the process to make it work for us, if we know that maybe people need to get to know me a little better before meeting, then take your time and not only get to know people, but have them get to know you.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
Is that something you think you can do differently when you go back online and not just look at a profile and go, oh my God, they're looking for somebody who's not me?
I think it's absolutely possible. I think catching myself when I start to go to my old story and say, no, 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 and just give this person someone who I look at and I choose as someone who I think would be a good possibility, as opposed to someone who, oh, okay, I'm sure he'll, like I think going and choosing someone who I feel could be a good possibility and going forward and giving that person a chance. I'll see
Yeah,
how that goes.
good.
Yeah.
I mean, stepping into that empowered, I am the chooser
Yes.
position, and instead of assuming rejection, assume
Yes.
nothing. It's
Yes.
like if you don't take risks, you don't get what you want. And we talked before about my tip of the day, asking for what you want. It's the same with your mindset. If you want something, then you have to show up as that and really direct your life and control the pieces that you can. And so if controlling that piece of people need to get to know me is important to you, then take that time and see who is willing to know the inside Debra. Because the outside Debra is beautiful too, but until you can accept all of you, let them see the parts that you do feel confident about. Let's take a quick break to hear from our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by Amazon Music Unlimited. You can listen to over 70 million songs and thousands of playlists and stations. Plus, you can now stream your favorite podcasts like Last First Date Radio. You can listen to any song, anytime, anywhere, on any of your devices, your smartphone, your tablet, your PC or Mac, Fire TV, and any Alexa-enabled devices like the Amazon Echo. Get Amazon Music Unlimited for free for 30 days. Just head on over to getamazonmusic.com/lastfirstdate to learn more and claim this offer. Now I'm going to talk about the body image piece because it is important,
Yes.
and to really think a little more about how you're presenting your body on dates. Whether there are outfits that you absolutely feel confident in. Do you have like 2 or 3 go-to date outfits?
I did, but I feel like my body keeps changing. And then that upsets me a little bit because I feel like, oh, the outfits I had last year, why are they feeling a little snug this year? And then I start going. So I try. I do have a few. And I find that once I get to the point where I've spoken to the person, we've met through video chatting, at that point, I just kind of let my body be what it is and I go and I can be present through a lot of deep breathing, but I'm going to work on that and get some few outfits that I just feel confident in.
I think that's important. No matter what size you are, even if your body continues to change, instead of feeling like, why are those clothes too tight? And then go through all the self beat up parts of the thought process around that. Why are these snug? Why don't they fit anymore? Oh, if I only lost 10 pounds. And that's not a healthy way to look at your body, as you know, and to dress for your size now. like really dress for your size now and find clothes that really flatter, no matter how big or small you are. Because the honest truth is, and most people don't know this, but even people with small sizes struggle with body image. People of all sizes and shapes and ages are beating themselves up that their bodies are not perfect. It is such a shame that we stop having experiences that will make us feel so great because we're hiding, because we don't accept our bodies.
Right.
So, you mentioned so many things, doing fun things together, going away for the weekend, going on day trips and music, concerts, having fun, having sex, which you didn't talk
Yes.
about, but it
Yes.
is.
That I do want that too. So
Yeah, that's a great thing. And
I
imagine
do.
like a year from now, you've still not gone on dates, you've still not had any of these experiences. How will you feel in a year because you've let your body determine your lifestyle?
Oh, right. When you say it like that, it just seems so sad. And life is short. And why should I deny myself all of those pleasures? And someone else who I might meet, we could have so much fun. So just need to find that person.
Yeah, and you won't
Yeah.
find him by not
No,
dating.
no.
And this is kind of a grim way to look at this, but I was just thinking about so many people I know who spent their whole lives dieting, feeling horrible about their bodies, and then towards the end of life, they got really sick, they couldn't keep weight on for whatever reason. It's like all those struggles, all of that wasted energy, because it's so much of just the thought processes around. Imagine how many hours of thoughts you've had where you felt bad about your body. I mean, that's a lot of time that you could be spending going on dates and working through fears, because you know that anytime you've taken a risk, when you've had fear, you've worked through it. Take
Yes.
acting, for instance. I mean, that scares the life out of most people to
Yes.
put themselves out there. And yet you've done it, and it brought you tremendous joy, and it continues to do so. And it makes you a really interesting person also, because going on a date and talking to somebody who's overcome those fears really shows a lot about your personality and your values, and would draw the right person to you.
Right.
I asked you before about your mindset around dating, and you mentioned stuck, rigid, scared, lonely, imperfect, and broken. How are you feeling right now about dating?
I feel so much brighter, filled with hope. I feel almost just calmer in my body. I feel like I could breathe, and it just feels like I could just be myself and opened. It feels so much better. And I almost want to, the whole concept of thinking ahead to the year with nothing. I feel like, oh, I just want to go and try now. I feel more eager.
Oh, good, good. We all know that sometimes we can't sustain this feeling. And so I want to leave you with a few things. One is to sustain that feeling, and maybe thinking about that year ahead. That seemed to really resonate for you. So if you think about the year ahead without doing anything, and then think about the year ahead when you have found somebody, and go into the dating sites with that image. So the first one is to overcome the fear. And the second one is to then step into the vision that you have. Because when we want something, when we can imagine it, when we can really visualize it and feel into it, because this really is about feelings. It's not about what it looks like. It has to be a certain way and a certain type and a certain time, and you have to meet him in this way. But knowing that you want to go away for the weekend with the right person, you want to have sex again, you want to imagine yourself just laughing with somebody and having fun, that is a motivator. So getting rid of the fear or tamping it down because you realize time is short, and then moving towards what you want. Coming into the dating apps with that approach and that attitude will help you to not shut down in 5 minutes and to really pick people who you would like. So that's the first part of your homework, is to really work on the fear part, imagining a year ahead without it, and then imagining a year ahead with it. The second thing I'd like you to do is to really work on the mindset piece, feeling into who am I really at my core? This sensitive, interesting, caring person. I am fun. I am open to learning. This is who I am. So that mindset piece of, it's not this other thing that I made up about my body is the representative of who I am. This is who I am. So the third part is to get to know people on your terms and to really slow down the getting to know you part a little bit so that you feel that connection and it takes away some of the fear, and that people already are getting to know Debra on the inside. How does that sound?
Those sound great. They do. It sounds like a definite plan, a definite way to move forward and hold on to that image of where I can see myself throughout this year. And I think it does help to keep and work on the mindset stuff every day because it needs lots of refreshing.
Yeah, I mean, this has been going on a long time. We've spoken
Yes.
before about childhood, and most of our body image comes from a long time ago. I was told I was too skinny and you should eat more. And it's never just, let's just accept that this is the body we have. And if we put less focus on bodies, and social media doesn't help, and all that we see out there, thank goodness we have more diversity in bodies now and more acceptance of different bodies, but your own self-acceptance is going to be the most important. And so focusing less on will they accept me and more on will I accept myself. And I know that I'm so much more than the body I'm in, but your body also has incredible things about it. We're not rejecting your body. Your body can do amazing things and has housed you for your whole life and has given birth to children and it does amazing things. And so instead of looking at it has to be perfect, this is the body I have, and this is what I appreciate about my body. Instead of focusing on perfection, focus on what it already does. And I think, that will help you with body acceptance. And I know you have a lot of tools from Nina as well to really keep working on the body acceptance. But in the meantime, get out there and date and do these exercises. And will you get back to me? Let's say in a week, we can post the update in this episode.
I would love to get back with you. This is great. And I also have to work on the area where if I do go on a date with someone and then they say something not so positive towards me, I have to, I want to work on knowing how to just let that go.
Often, when somebody says something unkind, there's something going on for them. And so, taking another deep breath and realizing that that doesn't define me. It says more about them than it does about me. And it's not personal unless you know them really well. And let's say you've been in a relationship for a year and then that person said something hurtful, then you can have a conversation about it. But when people say hurtful things, when they don't know you, it's really not about you. They don't know you well enough to do that. And if they did, they would hopefully give you positive, constructive feedback instead of hurtful feedback.
Right. Makes so
So
much sense. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, harder to practice than to hear and to do in the moment, but it's a practice. People
Yes.
say and do hurtful things all the time. We have to just like be Teflon and let it just bounce right off.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Debra, for being open and sharing about your struggles with body image. I know so many people are going to benefit from this episode. And if you do benefit from the episode, please write into the show. You can write to me at sandy@lastfirstdate.com.
I'm so grateful for all that I've learned from you over the years, and I'm still learning. And you helped me so much with a new perspective. And I feel so much more hopeful now after this conversation. Thank you.
I heard back from Debra after about a week, and here's what she had to say.
So it has been a week since we've met, and I am calling you back to update you how I did on my homework. So after we spoke, I really did try to visualize my year without dating, and it just seems a little bit more lonely, not giving myself the possibility to have someone to do all the wonderful things in life with, and to be held back just because of how I feel about my body. It just, it's sad, and that doesn't make sense. And I want to keep reminding myself that someone is out there and will want to get to know me for me. And the same that I want to do, I want to get to know him for him. So that really helped, and to visualize a year full of happiness. And it also helped to work on my mindset. I want to say more, daily, but frequently throughout the day. I decided to get back on the apps. I tried a different one this time, and I reached out to lots of men that I think in the past I wouldn't have reached out to, because I would have thought, oh, they're never going to like me because of my body. And I didn't let that be my story. And I reached out. I, just sent like a little basic hello kind of message. And some I heard back from, some I didn't. But I'm going to make this a daily practice, and I'm going to keep my story positive in my mind, and I'm going to see what happens. So thank you so much for your help, and I'm going to keep this practice going, because I think I'm going to need frequent daily reminders. But I feel absolutely more hopeful. Thank you.
I love how Debra was able to really envision what life would be like in a year without being with a man, without dating, and what would happen, and was able to give her the courage to get online and to find a new app. And she's very hopeful. So I'm hopeful for her. Thanks, everybody, for listening. If you love our show, please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. And as always, here's to your last first date. If you are ready to get unstuck, gain new tools, become more empowered, and finally find your last first date, I'd love to talk to you. Fill out an application to be considered for a complimentary half-hour love breakthrough session at lastfirstdate.com/application. That's lastfirstdate.com/application. I look forward to talking to you soon.